Hey traders, welcome back to another daily profit and loss recap video. I had a sloppy start to the morning after a long 3-day weekend, but I was able to bounce back and ended up with $391 in profits with 2 trades, one of them a winning trade and one of them a losing trade. And in this video, we're going to break down these trades, talk about my thought process behind them, so hopefully you can take something and apply it to your own trading. The first trade that I want to go over was BEAT. BEAT was the losing trade for me this morning. This was a stock that we can see was gapping up in pre-market. The previous day close on this stock was just $2.18, and it spiked up to a high in pre-market of $3.50. And we posted in the morning movers in the Market Master group the news along with this move. I was liking the news that I saw. There was a strategic alliance agreement with Samsung. And on top of that, I was also liking the fact that if we just look at the pre-market activity alone, we could see that for the most part, it's forming higher lows all throughout pre-market. And it's also forming a bit of support right in the 270 area. So I was looking at that area, basing an entry off of it, using that area as my risk level, and looking for a gap and go at the market open. Now, if we take a look at the 1-minute chart, we can see that it pulls back to that level at the market open, bounces up, rips through VWAP, and then we can see these two candles here with the long lower wicks. Both of them very quickly pull below the VWAP, but they're pushed right back up. That to me shows that there was demand in the 280 area. So I started to buy into this looking for that opening range breakout. My average price on this trade was just under $3 per share. Unfortunately, there were just too many sellers in the low threes, and it ended up getting dumped straight back through VWAP. Again, when I'm trading these opening range breakout setups, I like to use the low of that opening range as my risk level. So in this case, the low of that first candle is $2.71. So I ended up getting out very quickly in the 260s as it had this big sell-off to the downside. And although this trade didn't work out, on this one alone, I lost $409. I do stand by the setup, and I'm not necessarily disappointed in getting into this stock at all. Because we do see all the time these stocks will spike up in pre-market, they'll kind of fade and consolidate into the open, and then once they push back through VWAP at the open and that volume starts to come in, there's a really good chance that they can spike back up towards that pre-market high and even break out to new highs. So obviously nothing works 100% of the time in the stock market, and in this case this setup did fail and did not have any follow through, but there are times where this would be a really solid trade opportunity, so I'm not necessarily disappointed in this trade or the fact that I got into this trade. Okay, with that being said, moving on to the winning trade for me today. This was SDA. SDA is a super low volume, pretty choppy with wide spreads stock. However, this was posted in the trade plans over the weekend because there was some really solid momentum starting to pick up on this. I posted that it had been quietly moving higher on relatively low volume, and at this point there's a good chance it will keep moving until we get a big squeeze to force out all of the short sellers. And what I was looking for was a red to green move in the morning. So once we got that red to green move, I posted an alert in the Market Master group alerts section, and we got that red to green move, quickly spiked up to a high of $19.45. So it did rip over $3 per share from that red to green move very quickly. I was in and out of this trade in under 10 minutes, I believe. I started to get in when I posted the alert. Again, at that time, the volume was very, very low, and the spreads were pretty big between the bid and the ask on the level 2. So when I was getting into these trades, I was using 50 to 100 shares at a time only, and I wound up with 550 shares, and I believe my average price was just over $16 per share, which ended up being a really solid entry. I immediately placed some limit orders to lock in profits on the upside because these low volume spikes tend to not hold gains very well. So I had a good feeling that if it did spike up, it was going to come straight back down. So I wanted to make sure I had some limit orders placed out there to sell and lock in profits during those spikes. Anyway, with that being said, I locked in some profits over 18. I locked in some profits in the low 17s during this consolidation period. And on that trade alone, I was able to make $800.58, bringing my total profits for the day to $391. So pretty anticlimactic day. What we noticed in the morning was that none of the gap ups from the pre-market session were really having any follow through in the market hours. We had QTEK, which was a pretty big gap up this morning. We could see the previous day close on this stock was just over 7 cents, and it spiked all the way up to a high of just about 28 cents in pre-market. So a huge gap up there, but right at the market open, it sells off and fades, and so far is kind of rejecting VWAP here. So no follow through on that one. Another one was ETRN. Had a pretty solid gap up this morning in pre-market. We could see the pre-market trend is very strong, just climbing higher and higher and higher. Right at the market open, then we get that spike to the upside, and it's pretty much been fading lower ever since. So for people like me that like to trade these stocks that are gapping up and look for a potential gap and go, whether that be to buy into the opening range breakout, or whether that be to wait for them to dip and then buy into them reversing back to the upside, the market conditions were a little bit tricky this morning, so being able to still lock in $391 in profits, even though it is a bit underwhelming, is still a really solid win in my book, and hopefully the market conditions will improve over the next couple of days. This is pretty common when we come back from a long weekend or when we come back from a holiday, so in a way this price action was kind of to be expected. Alright, so hopefully you found some value in this video and you learned a thing or two from my own personal trades. If you did, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to hear about the stocks that I'm trading in real time and come join our trading group, there's going to be a link down below in the description for you to get started. And your first week when you sign up will be 100% free, so you can come and try it out with no risk. But anyway, thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck with your trading.